Hello, welcome to Computer Tech and More. I've got a great video for you today. Now, I know EK has been in the news with some not so good stuff. This review started process before all of the poop, let's say, hit the fan, so to speak. So we're going to be taking a look at the product. I hope you join me and see if the product is good. And it's up to you to decide if you want to give this company your money or not. I'm not here to make that decision for you. I'm just here to take a look at the product and not talk about anything else. So let's get into it. First, a little bit of spec information about the Loop FTP140. It is 27 millimeters thick, so it has a little bit of extra thickness that should help in pressure applications. Fluid dynamic bearing, 12 volts, up to 2200 RPM, and 2-year warranty. You see there are specs on there, and obviously there is a non-RGB and an RGB version. The first set of graphs is my case simulation test. It basically determines how good this fan is inside of your standard computer case if you're going to be using it as a case fan. The first data point is the 6-inch mark, which is indicative of a short throw distance or of a small form factor case. Think a case that can hold 120 millimeter class fan in terms of its length, and it assumes a front to back airflow with an air cooler, and the short throw distance assumes they've got the fan at the floor of your case and you're blowing them up towards your GPU. The 9-inch mark is a compact tower. So think 220 millimeter class fans down at the bottom of the floor. So it'd be able to hold a standard ATX or MATX motherboard, and the GPU would be the length of the motherboard without any extra length beyond that. So if you're looking at computer cases like that, you're looking at the 9-inch mark. Then we have the 11, which is a mid-tower case, something like the Meshify 2C or something like that, basically holding 320 millimeter class fans across the length or a standard 360 AIO. And so if you're looking at cases like that, you're looking at the 11-inch mark. The 14.5 is your truly large towers. Think Fractal Design Torrent, you're holding 340 millimeter class fans across its length. So first comparison point is against my control fan, which is 3 parts A12X5 to 1 part A14, a blended together fan, creating a quote 130 millimeter class fan. So we're looking for fans to beat it, to rise over top of it. And the Loop FTP 140 does beat it at all my standard data points, except for at the 140 millimeter class fan, where they end up tying. At 100% PWM fan signaling, once again we see a very similar result overall compared to my control fan. Now, none of this doesn't mean anything on its own until we start comparing against other fans. We know that it's good, but how good is it compared to other fans on the market? Right here in yellow is the Loop FTP 140. I'm going to keep saying 120 by accident. And it is towards the top of the graphs, so it is a quality fan. It is just a little bit below at the 6, the 9, and the 11-inch mark, the Silent Wings for 140. But by the 11 or 14.5-inch mark, it has dropped pretty steeply to the lower part of the pack. So I'd say if you're looking at anything smaller than a medium size and smaller, it's a good fan. At 100% PWM fan signaling, well, it doesn't reach the tippy top because it's not a 3000 RPM fan, but compared to standard RPM fans, it is doing quite excellently. Right near the Tough Fan 14, which is a fan that I actually put inside my computer, this green line is the Silent Wings 4 Pro 140. So it's competing very well, except for at that top end 14.5-inch mark. As for noise versus airspeed, so this is taken at the 9-inch mark because that's where fans tend to drop away in the most part. So you could redo this calculation with any data point and, well, the fans would shake up position to some extent. But I ended up doing it at the 9-inch mark. Anyway, so here's the FTP 140, and it is well towards the top. Matter of fact, it holds very strongly overall. So I'd say it's a strong contender for being a top pick fan. New to my graphs is taking a look at the noise values in Sone as well. The previous one was in decibels. So Sone just helps differentiate louder noise levels, while decibels tends to make lower noise levels more noticeable, because every 10 decibels is a doubling in noise value, but it makes the graphs look more linear. Taking a look at the noise levels in a different calculation using Sone. I have a whole piece on my channel about Sone versus decibels. Watch that if you want to get the nitty-gritty, but it basically helps stretch out the higher noise levels, which is what you get over here. And the Loop FTP is still a top-ranked fan using this different calculation. Now, performance through my CPU air cooler. This is equivalent air speeds through it as through a radiator that I recently purchased. Unfortunately, I have not implemented to do temperature testing just yet. So airspeed going through it is the best I've got, and the values I got are very equivalent. So let's carry on. Values that are in the top left are better, values in the bottom right are worse, and the first graph here on the left side is RPM versus airspeed, and this is a blade efficiency graph. So the loop is doing really well. It's a very efficient blade design. And if we take a look at the right one, which is noise versus airspeed, it's also beating out my control fan. But as we get to higher airspeeds, it's not quite as high over top of it, but it's still a very effective design. And how does it compare against other fans? Well, it's in second place compared to other fans I've tested so far. Only the P14 Max beats it out in noise normalized results. But there are other fans that are right on its heels, but it's an impressive result for this fan. At 100% PWM fan signaling, well, it just doesn't have that same kind of top end. Even the SWA fan GT14 with its pressure one beats it out, and they're very similar RPMs. But you'll notice that the loop is quieter. So even compared to other fans with similar air speeds, it's quieter than them. So that is a great result for that fan at its maximum 100% PWM fan signaling. But if you're going for raw performance, there are better options. How about in terms of airspeed versus decibel ratings? Well, here it's not quite at that same extreme high end that we saw in the case simulation, but it's still doing really well. It's towards the top. There are only a few fans that beat it out, like the P14 Max, and what's this one run? The Tough Fan 14 Pro. At 100%, taking a look at it from the perspective of Sone, still noise levels, it's still doing quite well, and we see that as it stretches out, so it starts to flatten out and not gain too much more airspeed for increase in noise until this one little joggle. It jumps right up, so there must be just a little bit of efficiency gain right there, or a harmonic within the fan design. And we do see it over here in decibels as well. I didn't note on that before. Alright, here is the RGB for the Loop 140. We can see the individual LED RGB lights. Right now they're all one steady color to make it easier to count how many there are. I think I counted 12. I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to rainbow mode. And that's the way it looks. It has a very good looking color effect in my opinion. And we're going to take a quick look at the loop fan and its features and its design. So first thing of note is there's this little ridge around the outside edge. It's a little bit hard to see, but that helps focus the air and keep it from rolling off the edges. The clearance around the edge of the fan is on the better side compared to other fans, so EK is making a fairly high quality product here, even with regard to everything else going on with that company. The hub in the middle is quite a lot larger than other fans. Now this has a big disadvantage in that you have a lot less surface area. But there is an advantage here. The inside has a slower air speed than the outer part of the fan, so there's less likely to be air that's drawn back up to the middle of the hub area because it's just all blocked off. The design has these little holes in it. They don't affect anything because they're part of the frame. The frame is a nice square shape, so it should be good in a constant airflow. So stacking the fans next to each other in radiators. These struts, there's 4 of them. They're straight. Normally you do see them curved in the opposite direction away from the fan blades. This helps reduce noise, the interference of when the fan blades cross past one of these struts. The struts are fairly flat. They're a little bit rounded on the top, but other than that, they're pretty much flat, which is a disadvantage. And last is CFM testing. It is my least favorite test because it's basically a scientific exercise. You're blowing air down a tube and you're measuring the airspeed in a volumetric flow rate manner. It's a scientific exercise. It doesn't tell you how good a fan is going to be at getting air to where you need it to be in a computer case, but it will tell you information as to how much air the fan can cycle in and out, not how good it is at doing that job. Same as the CPU cooler test. Better fans top left, worse fans bottom right, and the first is RPM versus air speed, or actually that should be CFM. Sorry, that's a little typo on this graph, but that's CFM, and it's a better efficiency than the control fan. How about in terms of noise? Well, it's beating it out, so that's a great result. And compared to other fans and noise normalized results, it's crushing it. It's the best. Okay, at 100%, well, it's in third place, so it's doing really quite well, and it's very noise efficient, given its noise speed. Sorry, that's not labeled, but that's the fan name, the RPM, and the noise level is generating. I need to add that into future graphs. I apologize. Now CFM versus decibels in terms of graph form. It's left all the other fans behind. It's great at cycling in air in and out. Now onto value proposition. The Loop is approximately a $30 fan. Retail price it seems to be like $32, but on sale price seems to be $28. I'm going to call it $30 fan. And it's not a top performer here. It's in the middle, maybe lower middle, but it's not a bad value. Sorry, the 100% ones, it's something with the way the Excel chart is implemented. I can't get them from high to low, but it's the same sort of positioning. Noise normalized at the 11-inch mark. The previous one was the 6-inch mark. Lower middle. It started to drop away a little bit in terms of that value. At 100%, still kind of that middle position. Going air CFM performance. It's again in the middle. It's just a little bit on the expensive side for how much air it can move. And performance of the CPU cooler value, well, it's okay. It's not a top value fan. Mind, it's better than quite a few other fans, but it's not quite at that top value mark. You really need to see it drop down to like 25 for it to be really considered a value fan. And now that brings us to the end of the video. This is the raw data. The raw data does belong to me. If you wish to use it for your own personal use, you may do so. If you're going to use it in any sort of video, publication, written journal, or anything like that, I do ask that you reference me and my channel and ask my permission first. Now, if you got constructive criticism for me on ways that I can improve my videos, please go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. I'm always trying to improve them, but no, it does take me time to implement it because I tend to do buy a whole bunch of fans at once, write reviews for them, and then film in cycles. So it takes me a while to implement changes as we go along. If you got suggestions for fans you wanted me to take a look at, please leave in the comment section down below. I'll add it to the list of fans that I plan on acquiring to run testing. If you like this sort of content I'm publishing, and if you've got the means and the ends to help support me, please think about becoming a YouTube member or a Patreon. Even the lowest setting on that really goes a long way. And if you do like the content, please give me a like and tell your friends. I know I'm a small channel. I know it's a lot to ask. I do have future plans for this channel and making it grow and actually improving the whole data collection process. This is what I call revision 2. I have a revision 3 in mind, but I can't do that without help from viewers like you. Anyways, thank you very much for making it this far in the video. I hope you join me next time on Computer Tech and More.